Hi all. Today I wanted to just say a little bit about marches. This is a wonderful kind of a tune, and I've always loved them. And uh, and yet at a session we mostly don't play them at all, really. Um, Lately, over the last little bit, because we have so many members of the Broken Pledge Ceilidh band here in Chicago that will show up at a session. Sometimes they play either a march by Marty Fahey or some march that they've worked on with the band. But I always loved them. I can remember going to New York many years ago to a place called the Eagle Tavern to do a solo concert. And when I went to do that concert, I always loved the title of this one march that's called I Won't Be a Nun. And I thought that'd be a great way to start the concert. And indeed started off with a march, which was like hugely fun. And of course, it's a great title. And it used to be played in Chicago here. It's the tune that goes like this. Most musicians will know it. Anyway, it comes out of O'Neill's book, and but there's a two-part version of that march, and then there's a three-part version of that march. And I think it might be the three-part that's in O'Neill's. Yet growing up in Chicago, we played the two-part version. And again, I always liked the marches. They're a different type of tune, aren't they? They are in 4/4 time, and yet you're dealing with it's almost like John Philip Sousa marches. They're big in their feeling. You get to use all kinds of notes. Like for instance, in a reel, you'd hardly be doing like a run of 4/16 notes. But because of the pacing of this, yes, indeed, there's 16th notes, down a quarter notes, and very, very melodic type of tune, I would say. Yeah, just beautiful, and lots of room to have a melody that's very elegant in its style, and you don't mind playing it again and again and again. Another note about marches is that years ago when I went on a tour of Ireland with my dancing school, the Dennehy Dancers, and Michael Flatley on that tour and myself, this was 1971, at one point in the concert would pull out our tin whistles to play a tune that's called the Centenary March, which of course is a great march, which a lot of you will know as well. And we knew it because of a great recording of a tin whistle player named Tom McHale. And Tom McHale, when he played this march, had this wonderful, let me see if I can play it. Yeah, it kind of started like this. Well, the notes of it were. And Tom McHale on that recording did one of these to get to that note, so that it went. So you can imagine that we loved it. And in fact, on that tour, got to go to a session in a town called Moat, and got to meet Tom McHale, and got to ask him, please play that. So beautiful style of tune, lots of room to work with melody there, which I may talk about in a future post. But for now, I'm going to go back and grab a couple of early marches of mine that I wrote for Ceilidh bands here in Chicago. So there'll be two marches coming up. I'll take a little break in between. Here's a march called Lynch's March. It was written some years ago for a little gang of young musicians who were going to be competing in a ceilidh band in the 80s. And it didn't ever have a name, I think, back then. When I was doing my book of tunes, I decided to name this one after my relatives, the Lynches. In particular, I was thinking of my aunt, Peg Lynch, who's my godmother. So anyway, it's called Lynch's March. There you go. I once in a while will run into Kevin Henry's daughter, Maggie Henry, who was in that band, and she'll say, "Come on, let's play that old march." Yeah, and it's nice, and it's in D, and it's it's in a range, which I think a lot of the marches are, and a range where like every instrument can play them, and of course they are the stalwart type of tune to start off a ceilidh band competition. It's the first thing you hear. It's the roll of the drum and these types of tunes. So if you haven't thought about these before, these are pretty sweet and very melodic. So I'm going to play one more for you. This then is another march, and it's called Clince's March. This is named also for relatives on my mom's side of the family, the Clinces. And my mom's sister is Liz Clince. And so this is another tune that's in D. And again, I get to play around with different little endings, and wrote this for a ceilidh band, again, a young ceilidh band. And I might look over a little bit at this one, pretty close actually to the one I just played for you, but I just try to keep myself on track. And it goes without saying that, you know, the tunes could be played with no double stops at all. And but if no one is playing with me and no one knows what the chords are, I will do little double stops to kind of guide the ear towards what I was thinking. So this time I'll play the A parts twice like I've been doing, but on the second one, I might rub into some double stops in case you might not have heard what I'm thinking. And I'll do the same with the second part, although the second part has a big different ending. But I'll keep the double stops out of the first time I play the B part. And so this type of tune, you know, I just think all marches are beautiful. I had some recordings growing up of Sean McGuire playing incredibly fancy fiddling for marches. So maybe I'll guide you towards a couple of those recordings as well. But at the end of the day, maybe this is a tune or tune type that you have not written a tune in. So yeah, here's the invitation. So Clince's March, we'll finish with this. luck, everyone.